Rugby League, a game played by some of the greatest athletes on the planet. And in the 1990s, the players were mainly British and true warriors. There was no place for faint hearts. Sky Television had burst onto the scene, making the players household names. Two Keighley men, Mick O'Neill and Mike Smith, were introduced by Terry Hollingdrake, the club's ex-international winger. They wanted to emulate Wigan by winning trophies and putting Keighley on the map. At first, the men were a laughingstock. The ground was in a terrible state from years of neglect, and the support was in the hundreds. The grandstand was closed, and the ground was weeks away from being closed altogether. But the two men put together a 5-year plan to rebuild the club. Neil Spencer, a lifelong supporter, joined the team, and the story began. It was essential that the 1991 season started well. New players were bought and pre-season training went well. Tony Fisher, the coach, was supremely confident.
We're going to win Division 3. I'm going to feel sorry for all of the clubs, but we're going to win it. Then we can get Division 2 sorted out, then we're up in the first.
Things couldn't have turned out worse. In the first game, the team was trounced at Bramley. Despite new players being brought in, there was no visible improvement in the performance from the previous season. Although Tony Fisher was very knowledgeable, the board decided to relieve him from his coaching role and turned to Alex Murphy.
They made me a good offer. They really put the case very well, and you've got to be very pleased the way they mounted the campaign. At the end of the day, I took a lot of things into consideration, and the most important thing why I didn't go was the travelling. I thought I couldn't do the job justice and give it my full cooperation because it was a little bit too far, but you know, there was nothing wrong with the Keighley club. As a matter of fact, I'd have been too proud to go there. I was impressed with the directors and you know, the way they put the deal over. They look a go-ahead board, and I think at the end they'll get what they deserve, and they're not far away from it now.
Alex and I actually discussed the matter over the phone, still in its infancy. He said that he'd received a good offer from Keighley, and he was willing to take the job, and would I be willing to work basically as him being a manager and myself being the coach. And I said, yeah, that would be no problem to myself. And Alex just waited a bit too long for the board, and they came on to me and I said, yes, I'll take it. I left it with Ian for a month and sat back, took everything in that was going on, and saw that pockets had appeared, pockets of players in groups, several pockets in different corners. And it would appear that the captain of the club at that particular time was really ruling the roost. And we went to Scarborough and I decided that after that game that severe surgery and pruning was necessary, and it took place, and that was the decision that led up to Andy Ayres moving to scrum half, and he then has never looked back, and he's got all these tries, and I believe that the improvement took place. Not necessarily my decision to change things over, but I believe that putting Andy Ayres to scrum half after that night had a big improvement in the team.
Peter's influence on the team was visible. The players bought into his philosophy, and the team started to win on a regular basis. The marketing at games and around Keighley began to tell, and gates started to climb above 1,000 on a regular basis. The champagne moment of the season was this superb try scored by Andy Ayres in the Challenge Cup tie at Wigan. A great performance saw them go down 32-8. The highlight of the season was the win against Nottingham, 70 points to 0, breaking a club record that was held for 86 years. John Vasilou kicked 11 goals, equaling the most goals kicked in a game. The anticipation for the next season was building. The club changed its name to Keighley Cougars, and a new major sponsor was found, who bought into the club's identity and contributed materials and labour to bring the grandstand back into service. A grant of £150,000 was won to start rebuilding the entrance and terracing. One of the unsung heroines of Cougarmania was Norma Rankin. She found and looked after the sponsors. The star performer of the season was John Vasilou. signed from Halifax Rugby Union. He'd already started to break club records and was well on his way to becoming a major crowd favourite.
Remarkable. Well, it's a good one. That's 10-0, no problem at all.
The two Micks brought a brand new, exciting rugby experience that was infectious. Mike Smith was a video marketing expert and produced glitzy promotional videos that encouraged people to give the Cougars a try. And Mick O'Neill was a professional DJ, so once inside the stadium, new supporters felt as if they were part of the Cougar Army. He had many famous catchphrases, including
halfway up there that was shouting out these things, but yes, it's taken off a little bit and it's get carried away a little bit, but from having no tannoy to having this loud tannoy now, it's really taken off, and it's just a bit of fun really. I mean, some of the diehards in rugby league don't like it and some do, but I think basically it's taken off and it's a bit of fun.
And here's a typical promotional video.
I wake up, feel just fine. Your face fills my mind. I get religion quick, 'cause you're looking divine. Honey, you're touching something, you're touching me. I'm under your thumb, under your spell. Can't you see? If I could only reach you, if I could make you smile, if I could only reach you, that would really be a breakthrough. Oh yeah. Breakthrough these barriers of pain. Breakthrough, yeah, to the sunshine from the rain. Make my feelings known towards you. Turn my heart inside and out for you now. Somehow I had to make this final breakthrough.
Expectation for the new season was high, New faces, including Aussies Darren Appleby and Ian Gately, a burly prop forward, hot from the NRL, Jason Ramshaw, a brilliant hooker from Halifax, and Joe Grimmer, a fearsome warhorse of a player, signed from Widnes. Joe's role was to lead the club on and off the field and inspire the kids to come and support us. The season got off to an indifferent start, but we were playing better teams with a fast, open style of rugby that bode well for a successful season. Enjoy these tries.
Keithley, says Mr. Connolly, as Paul Moses puts that ball high. That's a good kick. Hits the post, bounces back, and there's a little sniffer! He's done it again! Position. Paul Moses onto Andy Ayres, run round with Greg Harley. Ayres sees the gap, steps for it, puts Mark Milner in the hole. Mark Milner's going. He's going in at the corner again. And it's a 15th try of the afternoon.
By January, the Cougars were 4th in the league, 6 points adrift of the leaders Dewsbury, but never lost another game. The question was, could we catch the leaders?
Woods out then to Harley coming up this short side, on there to Martin Wood. Martin Wood's in for number 3, right under the black dot.
3,400 spectators packed Cougar Park to see the Cougars overtake Dewsbury by winning 33. Then the champion decider on a terrible Good Friday night. The game got off to the worst possible start. Captain Joe Grimmer was sent off for this tackle on the Batley captain Jeff Gratian. Despite this setback, the Cougars were magnificent. Sit back and enjoy the first title win for many years.
Juggling, but Andy Stevenson's in. Is he? Yes, the referee's given the try. Andy Stevenson finishing off in the corner. And that was real persistence, wasn't it, Darrell? Because the Batley defence had moved across very, very quickly. But it's the last one coming up. Mr. Smith has his arm in the air as Gately plays the ball. Ball high in the air for the chase and the under. The man taking the ball there, in fact, is Keith, and it's a try. Oh, what a good kick there that was. Keith Dixon placed a perfect kick in the air. He followed it up. It looks as though it might have been Steve Hall, was it, who scored? Steve Hall behind the man who kicked the ball, took the ball over. Defender and all, right at the side of the post. That's 4 points further on the board for Keithley, Darrell. Sizing him up as it goes. Ayres switches the ball to Gately. Gately driving in, setting something up again for Keithley here as Ramshaw gets quickly there. Long ball out there, Carlton follows in. Oh yes, oh yes. Oh, that's a good try there.
Time after time, I've done my sentence, but committed no crime. And bad mistakes, I've made a few. I've had my share of bad kicks in my face, but I've come through. I need to go on, 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 on. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. The champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
It's all about consistency. I mean, you can believe you're the best team, but unless you're winning regularly week in, week out, you're not the best team. I've never seen a crowd with as much enthusiasm as the crowd showed against Battling Good Friday, and there was a crescendo every time we touched the ball, just about, and the atmosphere was something I've never experienced at Keighley before. It's worked, and the Cougars are at the moment on the crest of it.
Bringing Smoking Joe Grimmer to the Cougars had been a masterstroke. He was a marketer's dream. Joe had led from the front, both on the field and taking its groundbreaking community programs developed by Mary Calvert into the town. Perhaps his most enjoyable activity was to pay a surprise trick or treat on fans, no matter how old. But his tireless work with the local kids was unbelievable. No matter how bad the weather or at what time of day, Joe made himself available. It gave him and the club total respect with the sponsors and made him a real town cult hero.
Friday, 15th of October 1993, and volunteers gather in the Cougar Clubhouse for what promises to be one of their most ambitious projects yet. Their mission, should they choose to accept it, to take 1,000 school children in 23 coaches down to Wembley for the first Great Britain-New Zealand test.
First of all, I would like to thank you very much for all attending, because it's very important, tomorrow's trip, and you play a major part to its success. So I do thank you for all attending. I have with me PC Holmes and PC Brown. They will go through the itinerary with you. It should last about 20 minutes, so I hope that you all pay attention and listen like your kids do. Right? It's very important.
Temperature of -6 degrees, 1,000 of the lucky youngsters assembled in the Cougar stand, ready to make what for most of them would be their debut trip to Wembley. Once assembled, counted and checked in, everyone made their way to where 23 coaches were waiting for them to start them off on their first leg of the road to Wembley. Once inside the hallowed ground, Cougar fans were treated to front row seats. Spirits were high despite the low temperatures as we eagerly awaited the start of the test. Joe's fellow countrymen may well have lost the match, but he and his team had certainly won the day, not to mention the gratitude of 1,000 Cougar fans as he led them victoriously back to the coaches. And the success of various Cougar projects. The two forces have formed a partnership and created the Paw Initiative. This personal award for excellence is essentially to acknowledge a student's achievements and will consist of a week's activities at Ambleside Youth Hostel in August. Keighley Cougars and Keighley Police will handle all arrangements for the week and where necessary call on the expertise of other agencies. On a wet April Saturday morning, Keighley's first school tournament took place. Joe Grimmer and his team of community players had worked long and hard throughout the year with Keighley's schools, encouraging children to play sport. The competition was a testimony to the success of this programme, where 22 schools entered mixed teams of boys and girls. All thoroughly enjoyed a wonderful day, despite the weather. So as you've seen, behind the scenes, Keighley Cougars are not just a rugby club. We have a whole new way of life. The Cougars have helped put the heart back into Keighley. Recent crime figures in Keighley have shown that this initiative has contributed to the Keighley district. The juvenile crime rate has fallen by 11%, while nationally it has increased by 12%.
Everyone at the club was still on a high following that wonderful Good Friday 3rd Division Championship win. The club had delivered an historic victory in the most appalling weather. But now was the time to put all the emotions behind us and start building for the next challenge. Peter Rowe understood that playing at a higher level demanded speed and size up front. The club targeted and bought one of the most exciting centre pairings in the game. Nick Pinkney, a young speedster from York we believe could go on to become a future international, and Halifax Stars centre Greg Austin and mighty prop Big Brendan Hill, who also had a great turn of pace. But it was the centre partnership of Pinkney and Austin that made this a mouth-watering combination for the fans. Major ground developments were now taking shape. This new bar complex would provide fans with a top-class comfortable bar and a much-needed restaurant for the club sponsors who became so pivotal in building the club's future. Two new directors joined the board, popular ex-club captain Alan Clarkson and lifelong supporter Tim Wood, who became the company secretary. The season started well. Crowds were now averaging over 3,500 and club merchandising was breaking all records. But the weight of expectation was beginning to take its toll. After a mixed start to the season, these two crucial games against London were lost through appalling refereeing decisions.
As that ball into the scrum and out through to Ramsey again. We've got to call that as shepherding. I really do think that Mr. Cummins has got a lot to learn. He may be a grade 1 referee, Darrell, but that was an absolute disgrace by the referee.
And Jason Ramshaw getting it to Brendan Hill. Brendan Hill. Oh, that was... Well, one can only assume that the crew that shouted might well be a try here. The Crusaders going in for their second try. Logan Campbell going in, and Brendan Hill... Quite why he passed that ball, only he knows. I rather suspect that someone on the Crusaders' ball shouted mine, and the Cougars desperately needing another by London. Oh, and they made it. Martin Wood, they've got to move the ball out wide. The try surely there for the taking. Going for the corner. The Cougars have been given a forward pass. The referee has given a forward pass. The referee has ruled that the final pass was forward.
In what was turning out to be a mixed season, the Cougars travelled to York for a crunch match, and the game was in the balance until the last 5 minutes, when York scored to secure victory. Greg Austin never played for the club again.
Well, Greg will deny that. I mean, Greg wanted to leave the club from the first game onwards, and I think I've had more one-on-one meetings with Greg than any other player. And the problem was that there weren't tactical meetings. There were meetings to try and get what was potentially a great signing for the club to stay at the club. And Greg realised, in his own opinion, he made a mistake right from the start. But the problem was that he also dictated that he wanted to leave the club, but also dictated which club he wanted to go to. And so he wanted to call the tune from both ends of the fiddle.
Performances were on the slide. Defeat against Batley at home, going down despite this try from Jason Ramshaw at Huddersfield, and a heavy defeat at Workington saw us finish 6th.
In 2 ways, it's been a lot harder. Through the players from other teams have become, a lot more serious when they play against us. We also have the benefit of blokes coming down, maybe at the end of their career, and people that have been found that have come along since last season in the 3rd division. So, all in all, I mean, all around, it's always been a harder season than last season, most definitely.
But for Nick Pinkney, it was a memorable season. He broke the club try-scoring record, scoring 31 wonderful tries like these.
Bubble, bubble, bubble. Bubble, bubble. Bubble. I think it's because Keithley made the most noises, really. They was chasing me up all the time, pestering. Just really, they wanted me the most out of all the clubs that was after me. And I thought that they was the ones that were going to go the furthest in rugby league, really.
How much did you know about them when you came here?
Well, I've been the things, obviously, that you read in the papers. It's really the only things that you get to know about the club. And I didn't really know many of the players, so I knew of the reputation, but I didn't know them personally, so I didn't really know that much.
And if you think that I've been losing my way, that's because I'm slightly blinded. And if you think that I don't make too much sense, that's because I'm broken-minded.
I got it in the end.
And the special one was against Carlisle, wasn't it?
Yeah, right from the kick-off, yeah. I don't know what happened. I just stepped a bit and just seemed to get free and get away. It was... I'm just got on the kick-off the first, so that was quite special.
A couple of 4s as well?
Yeah, a couple of 4s. There was one against Swinton and one against an amateur side, so they're always special, aren't they?
And if you think that I've been losing my way, that's because I'm slightly blinded. And if you think that I don't make too much sense, that's because I'm broken-minded. Don't keep it inside. If you believe it, don't keep it all inside. No.
And of course, you've made the precedent, as it were, now. Nick, they were expecting to score 32 next season, weren't they?
Yeah, well, obviously, we'll most probably have a better season next season, so it can only get better, I suppose, can't it?
Peter Rowe left the club, and the directors knew getting the right coach was the key to continuing its dream of success, and was arguably the club's most important signing. Commercially, a winning team creates far more commercial revenues and gate receipts, essential to continue the club's sustainability. No one expected who they appointed. In a sensational announcement, Phil Larder, one of the top British coaches, had agreed to join the club.
And he's the best. To actually persuade him to come to Keighley, we went up one night and Mike did his spiel on him, and when we left his house at about 2 o'clock in the morning, we knew we were Cougarised, and we had a good feeling that he'd want to come, because I think it's a club that has got great potential. We keep saying it, but to attract the best coach in Britain is a real boost for Keighley. We need players, better players, and we're going to do our best, but we do need help, and I hope the sponsors come to his aid as well, and back this man, because he's an absolute marvel, and if he gets the backing that we can give him and the sponsors can give him, I'll say it again, but let's hope we can go for it.
Through the help from the sponsors, Phil brought in 5 key signings. From Leeds, Simon Irving, a free-scoring goal-kicking centre to replace Greg Austin. One of the best fullbacks in the game, a rugby union international, Andre Stoop from London Broncos. Chris Robinson, a diminutive scrum half who would be the team's playmaker from Halifax. Darren Fleary, a brilliant hard-tackling second row from Dewsbury. And Gareth Cochrane, an academy international loose forward from Hull. On top of these signings, a sheikh had contacted the club to take a multi-million-pound community investment following the global publicity the club was receiving regarding its revolutionary marketing and community initiatives. Mick O'Neill and Mike Smith met him in the VIP lounge at Leeds Bradford Airport.
How does the club get itself involved in the community?
Divine one. 3 years ago, Mr. O'Neill and myself got involved with Keighley Rugby League Club for the town, because the club and the town had lost its spirit, and we decided to put our efforts into rebuilding a sporting club that would put the heart and soul back into a community. And over the last 3 years we've worked extremely hard in rebuilding the team and the facilities, so that the community can be proud of its sporting achievements and encourage people to have a pride to develop business and commercial interests. We have a scheme called the Keighley Cougars Community Partnership, and it's
Please.
Thank you. It's the players in the community work together.
Can you make inquiries, or would you be prepared to make inquiries to see if planning permission would be given for a special royal box that faces east to be erected at the ground?
Already, with the planning people, 4 boxes.
Oh, I see, yes.
Good stuff.
It's part of our development plan to build hospitality boxes within the ground for business use.
Good. And so one would be specifically designated for the
no problem at all.
Minaret. We do have a problem, gentlemen. The word cougar in the Sheikh's country, unfortunately, is a word of extreme. It's an extreme insult to use the word cougar in his country. Bearing in mind, as I said before, whilst I am not allowed to preempt the committee's decision in terms of the size of the investment to the club, but I am empowered, as I did before, to say that substantial figures would be considered. Bearing that in mind, the Sheikh would ask that the club's name be changed. the Sheikh would like his family name used. Now his family name, as you can see, is Kamel. Can you foresee any problem in changing the name of the club to Keighley Camels?
I think that identity is extremely important, and it's very, very important to the whole community that we are successful and that we offer facilities for all people, and where it would be difficult to change the word Cougar, but Carmel could be possible if the investment was sufficient to ensure that for the future of the club it would be possible to do that. So
Oh, Divine One, provided all May I just present these two for the biggest gotchas of all time.
The start of the most anticipated season in the club's history began.
Neil Kenyon acting half back onto Robinson. Robinson to Ramshaw, misses out Gately, finds Ayres. The hole's there. The hole's there. Pinkney's in. Well, certainly Pinkney stepped inside. He'd got two supporting players on his left-hand side, but he showed his class with a step off the left foot twice. Outfoxed the Whitehaven defence in about 4 or 5 metres to the left-hand side of the post. 25 metres out from his own line. Ramshaw onto Wood. Can we see some Martin Wood magic? Nice ball out there to Stoop. Walker coming on the inside. He's got Robinson inside him. Out to Robinson. In fact, it's Darren Appleby, beg your pardon. Darren Appleby, the scorer. Gets the shoulder of White, but it's Ayres with the ball. John Walker pointing to Andy Ayres, I think asking him to put the kick in, as Ramshaw now acting half back. Onto Robinson, he finds Stevenson. Martin Wood in support, gets to Pinkney. Pinkney steps up again. Pinkney goes for the corner, and Pinkney scores in the corner. Nick Pinkney stepped up the extra gear, but some lovely handling across the field there by Keighley. The confidence is growing. It's taken some time to come, but it's there now.
Simon Irvine made his much anticipated debut at London Broncos in front of a large following and instantly showed his contribution to the promotion effort.
Simon, it took us a while to sign you, but when you eventually came, it was a fairly momentous game, wasn't it? London at London.
That's right, Jack. London down there, and things went very well for me in my debut, and we came away with a good win.
You've had a good season, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a great season, very enjoyable, and I'm really glad now that I've come to Keighley Cougars.
I remember you coming off the field when we played Huddersfield, and you couldn't believe it, could you? The way the fans congregated round the dressing room, clapping you all on the back.
Oh, that's right. It's amazing. It's great for the town.
Still on top of the league, the Cougars were playing fantastic rugby and scoring brilliant tries.
Him down as Dixon spins the ball inside to Robinson. He comes across, finds Irvine. Irvine's going to score. Simon Irvine's going to score for Keighley. Tremendous try there by Simon Irvine. Unable to get the ball off the hole because of the Backley player in between now as Martin Wood. Dixon, a long ball out there to Irvine. Irvine finds Pinkney. Pinkney gets the ball out to Ayres. Ayres is in at the corner. Keighley get the third try, and really that's the way they've got to play it. So, Simon Irvine with another opportunity to get 2 points and level the score. Which he does, 22 points apiece.
Only for 12-man Backley to fight back with these 2 drop goals and a penalty in the final minutes.
Last tackle. Are we looking for another Simon Wilson drop goal? We are, and it's there. There it is through, 4 points clear.
The final score 26 points to 22.
One of the club's most influential players is Aussie prop Ian Gately, producing man-mountain performances of consistency week in, week out, just like this.
You were young and your heart was an open book. You used to say, live and let live. This ever-changing world in which we live in makes you give in and cry. Say, live and let die. Live and let die.
The real test had arrived playing First Division Sheffield Eagles and winning by 26 points to 10.
Eagles defence, Robinson onto Martin Wood, misses out Gately, finds Cochrane, out there to Irving, Irving gets the ball, Harris is in at the corner, the Cougars are 6 points up. Sheffield Eagles forwards, Robinson, Ian Gately back inside, on there to Cochrane, out to Irving, it's 1-1 now as Irving gets the wrong options, it's on to Gareth Cochrane and the Cougars get their second try. Gareth Cochrane at the side of the post and the Eagles are shell-shocked. Well, Ayres taken out there well after the ball had gone by the standoff. Robinson goes for the kick and chase. Oh, he gets the touch! Does Robinson! He saw the Eagles' defence were asleep. He went straight into the Eagles.
Then came arguably the best game seen at Cougar Park for many years, the quarter-final against the mighty Warrington. Steve Hall tragically broke his leg, and we lost 20 points to 18. But what a game!
He certainly had, and how well he fulfilled that commitment. Tremendous try.
Keighley being called to dig into the reserves now to pull a score off and give themselves a lead as Robinson onto Wood. Wood out to Gately, the numbers are there. Andre Stroop steps inside. Andre Stroop scores! Oh boy, Andre Stroop scores. Warrington caught wide again. I don't think my voice is going to last. If it doesn't, you'll just have to make do with the noise from the man on the tannoy. The next tackle will be the first one in this set of 6 as Stoopy now goes back towards the halfway line. Stoop 5 metres from that halfway whitewash. Robinson, long ball out to Martin Wood, onto Cochrane, Simon Irving. He's got Pinckney inside him. Give it to Pinckney. Nick Pinckney goes. He will lead the race. Nick Pinckney's going. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh what a try! Jonathan Davis wiped my boots.
The club was going from strength to strength and had attracted over £500,000 of potential sponsorship, assuming they got promoted as champions. A major new sponsor to Rugby League was an international car company. Magnet, the club sponsors, agreed to double its already huge contribution, and many of the club's smaller sponsors were ready to commit funds to purchase new players. On the crest of a wave, the club headed to London to meet Gary Waller, the town's MP, to put the final details on the grant application for redevelopment to the east side of the ground.
And Keith, of course, are a club who are anxious, desperate, of course, to make improvements.
Well, that's right. I mean, if they're going to the First Division, they've got to have a first-class ground. They're aiming for that, but they need some help because it's a lot of money that's involved.
It's a great deal of money, isn't it? It does seem a trifle unfair.
I think so. I can't remember ever seeing any problems of any kind at Dorcombe Lane, and I think that account should be taken of that.
The bid was successful, and work began to be ready for the new season. It saw the scratting shed demolished, a new roof over the North Terrace, and the building of a state-of-the-art terrace. What an achievement, rebuilding the stadium in just 4 years to a capacity of 7,800. Back to the rugby, the Cougars remained at the top of the league where they had been all season, and an important win against Leigh saw them stay there. Then came the news that rocked the World Rugby League. Cougars had signed the Great Britain standoff Darryl Powell from Sheffield Eagles for almost a world record transfer fee, entirely paid for by the club sponsors, a clear statement that this club was destined for the very top. What happened next was one of the greatest sporting scandals ever. Before Powell played his first game, out of the blue, it was announced that the game was to be restructured into a Super League, and the Cougars were not included. Everyone connected to the club and the wider community was stunned. After the game, the fans and players showed their disgust by protesting with many tears streaming down their faces.
Just ridiculous, with all the work that's done in the community, with the schools, the Cougar Clubs and everything. I mean, to do this to Keith, it's ripping the heart out of the community.
I've got something to say to Maurice Lindsay. Absolutely ridiculous.
All the work that they've put in, even with the Cougar Cubs and everything, is all just going to go all because of one person in this Super League.
The directors headed to London to begin legal proceedings.
The Cougars are totally dissatisfied with their remission from the Super League. Unless the Cougars are reinstated and form part of the new Super League, they'll be left with no alternative for the sake of the club, its supporters, its sponsors and the game in general to pursue an action against the Rugby Football League.
There was massive media interest in the way the club was conducting its legal battle, shown here at a press conference held in Leeds. The Cougars kept as much pressure on the Rugby League as possible through the media and received support from all over the world.
We feel that Rugby League has been cheated by the introduction of a Super League, and I think that it was done very hastily, without any consultation, and we believe now that we have to take it to the court for the good of Rugby League itself and the good of Keith the Cougars.
Richard Kramer and the legal team won an injunction against the Rugby Football League and Super League in the High Court, forcing the whole Super League proposal to be discussed at club level.
Keithley approaches Sunday's meeting with an open mind and hope that Rugby Football League will find a place for Cougars in the final composition in the Super League.
Meanwhile, the Cougar supporters gathered at Cougar Park to travel to the Rugby League headquarters in a convoy to deliver a petition signed by over 20,000 people. In true Cougar style, they also gave Maurice Lindsay an Easter egg. I wonder if he dared to eat it. Next stop was a meeting of clubs in Manchester.
Keith came to the office today and said could they make a personal presentation because they definitely want to be in Super League. So yes, why not?
I'm come here today to represent Featherstone, and if anybody thinks they're going to get in the back door in front of Featherstone, then they're going to know different when I get in there now, because I'm absolutely fuming.
The Keighley delegation waited for nearly 5 hours to be told there was still no way into the Super League. They emerged angry and upset.
We haven't even had a chance to present this case. We went in there, we've been undrawn and quartered. They're not interested in Keighley at all. The most progressive club in Rugby League, and they've just said, forget it boys, you're out.
It wasn't an executive vote, it was a club vote by those chairmen, and they said that, meritorious though the Keighley application is, they were not prepared to let them replace one of the other clubs.
There are probably 5, 6, 7 teams equally who feel that they ought to be there as well, and they, on balance, probably have better cases to put.
Professional Rugby League is a small group, and it is dominated by the larger clubs, and with the money already agreed between them, it was a case of to hell with the rest. The debate continued in the House of Commons, but to no avail. The clubs had made their decision. The Cougars were out. By a cruel twist of fate, as Maurice Lindsay travelled the world singing the praises of his new rugby innovation, he forgot to mention that the whole Super League concept and summer rugby came out of a meeting with Mike Smith. He commissioned his company to write a consultation document called Framing the Future for the clubs to discuss. But in true Maurice style, he sold it to Sky within days of the ink drying and forced through the upheaval using the £86 million he got from Sky. The rest is history. One of the victims was Darryl Powell. What were his thoughts?
Players have committed a lot to Keighley Rugby League Club in giving the jobs up and committing themselves full time. So if Keighley do go out of business, then it would obviously put them in a very difficult situation.
Back to rugby, there were still some games to complete the season, and the players' resolve was never stronger to finish as champions. It was a great testimony to the mental toughness installed into the players by Phil Larder and his coaching team. The Cougars were still top of the table before travelling to Hull KR on a Friday night with thousands of fans and got a crucial win.
30 metres out from the Rovers line. It's still 0-0 as Powell gets the ball out with 8 minutes. Martin Wood still going. Martin Wood's going for the try line. Martin Wood's still going. He gets the line down and Mr. Conley gives the try. It was an arm stretch out there.
Then came the championship winning game against Huddersfield in front of a full house at Cougar Park.
Final try by Simon Irving scored with 1 minute 40 seconds to go on the official stopwatch. It gave us the draw 22 points each, it gave us the league title, and how the fans celebrated.
Then came the final game against Highfield, played at Rochdale, with over 5,500 travelling supporters witnessing a truly remarkable day. The biggest away win in rugby league history. Here are a few of the tries, every one absolute magic.
And on to Powell. Powell offloads there to Irving. There's 4 Highfield players there, but Simon Irving defies the laws of numbers and gets in at the corner for the try. Well, the Highfield defence doing very well to get back into the centre there and get Pinkney down, but it's Robinson now going for the hole, in for the try. Robinson saw the gap, had no hesitation whatsoever in going for it, and got the try. And it's Irving at acting half-back, gets the ball in field to Stoop, a long ball into Powell, out to Robinson. The Keighley has certainly got the numbers on the far side as Nick Pinkney goes in for his second try, and the Keighley Cougars' 7th try. Of those Keighley attackers, Robinson doing well to regather that ball, sets things up on this side. Martin Wood onto Nick Pinkney. Pinkney's got Ayres outside him. Ayres in at the corner. The round dozen. Keith Dixon underneath it, having taken the place of Andre Stoop in the full-back position. Breaking away, turning the defence inside out. Nick Pinkney onto Andy Ayres. Andy Ayres is going, and again Norman Barra doing the chasing inside. The ball inside, well taken, a lovely pass from Andy Ayres, well taken round the bootlaces by Nick Pinkney. But that's called teamwork. Switch on the restart to this short side. Nick Pinkney takes it, goes down the outside, stretches out, brings the crowd to the feet, steps inside the fullback, offloads to Darryl Powell. Try number 15, Darryl Powell's first for the club. Ramshaw to Martin Wood, Wood out there to Dixon. Dixon goes for the gap, finds Larder. Larder's going forward, got the ball to Pinkney. Pinkney steps inside one way, gets the ball to Ramshaw. There's the 100. Oh, and Jason Ramshaw's in the crowd almost. Celebrations galore going in there. And what a way to celebrate the championship with 100 points.
It had been a memorable season, finishing champions in great style. The club banked a winner's cheque for £30,000, but this could not have been achieved without the backing of the sponsors and the marvellous supporters. The players, coaching staff and everyone at the club kept the faith. and worked so tirelessly to achieve the club's objective.
A superb season. I've enjoyed every minute of my stay at Keighley, but the most important thing is that we've had a job to do, and that job was to finish within the top 2. The bonus is that we've done that, and we've finished with the championship trophy. And I can't speak high enough of everybody concerned, the spectators, the board, but particularly the coaching staff who've worked with me, and of course the players. They've worked tremendously hard, and they deserve the success. We've worked very hard on our defence, and to have finished the season not only as champions but with the best defensive record of any team in either competition is something that we're also very proud of. Our spectators are absolutely out of this world, and not only the home support, but I remember going out onto the pitch at London Broncos and at Whitehaven, which were 2 vital games when you look back, and it was just like as if we were playing at home. And also that journey to Hawkinson Rovers and getting off the coach at Craven Park, and it was just for me like being involved with the Great Britain team again. The supporters are absolutely tremendous.
Attention now turned to the Premiership, and first up was Hull KR and a great win, 42-16.
By Robinson, Ramshaw out to the wing, Simon Irving strolls over. 5 metres inside the Rovers half, and there we go for the quick break. Darren Fleary skips away from the first, through the second and the third. He's got Powell with him. Powell's going to score his first try for the club. Yo! But what a bust there by Darren Fleary. What a tremendous breakout by that second row. And again the Rovers markers moving quickly off the mark. Powell's going. Oh, that's class. Whoa, that was class. A try out of absolutely nothing.
Then a great win over London Broncos in the semi-final.
Powell skipping to his right, going to his left, finds Stoke, shimmies. Oh, Robinson's in. Oh, what a try. Oh boy. Superb combination. Darryl Powell provided it with a little sidestep to the right. The players just that little bit too close for comfort as Powell now slices through the centre of the defence. Darryl Powell has got Pinckney outside him, but Martin wants to try scoring for Keighley. Oh, what a man this Powell is. Oh boy, he went through the London defence like a hot knife through soft butter. Getting beyond the 20-metre line, out there to Pinckney. Pinckney doing well to take the ball, and he's in the clear. Pinckney's in the clear, and he's going to score. Surely he'll score, will Pinckney? Oh, yes, sir. And who's the man with him? Referee Morris. Oh, what a try, though.
Old Trafford welcomed the Cougar Army. It was a day that the town will never forget.
The support play was superb. Appleby running the angles, uses the dummy runner, he used the hooker back on the inside, but what great support and what a good step. He really did step on the gas here. That is a great try.
Crosses the 20-metre mark. Ramshaw the dummy half, here's Gately. Appleby takes it over. Powell gets the pass away to Wood. Wood looking to offload in the tackle. Can't do so. Hanger was all round his ankles. Here's Powell. Powell stepping his way there. And Darryl Powell. That's the try that Keighley wanted. Ankle tap by Fusil, and it had to be. Now second rower Gareth Cochran. He's only 20. Gets the pass away, and this is the centre, Nick Pinkney. And Pinkney can control the class of the second division player of the year. A new record for a centre. Nick Pinkney's 46th try of the season.
And Pinkney blasted through. Greg Austin was caught short there, trying to intercept the football, while the youngster Nick Pinkney in for a sensational try. Only a matter of time. He called for it on the blind side. He realised that the Huddersfield defence was all at 6s and 7s. They were still making their way back into the 10-metre zone, and that, I'm afraid, is very poor defence. But the ball, oh, nothing, it happened.
And they're in. Keighley Cougars in with Andy Ayres. Down the touchline. Found just an inch or two of space. And Andy Ayres with his 25th try of the season.
Once again, good thinking on the blind side. It's the hooker that saw them resting again. Andy Ayres, superb in and out. All about using your brains, and Jason Ramshaw certainly did that. Simon Reynolds had no answer for this man. Andy Ayres.
That sums Keighley up. There's the final siren. And Andre Stoop, who played in a beaten final team 12 months ago, comes up trumps this time for Keighley Cougars. Highly deserved. 4 tries to 0. It tells its own story.
Way to end a great season for Keighley. That's right, yeah, it started back pre-season as early as May for us, and we worked extremely hard for us, yeah. And yet in the opening 10 minutes of this, you really didn't look as though you'd arrived. That's right, we've got a lot of young fellas in the side. I think it took a little bit of time to settle down. We prepared very well for today. We stopped over fairly close to Old Trafford, and like I say, there's quite a few youngsters on the team, but once they settled down, we really turned the style on.
We said that defence would win us a game, and we stopped them from scoring, and obviously we'd always score tries with players like Nick Pinkney, Andy Ayres, Darryl Powell, Darren Appleby in the side, so we knew we'd always score tries. Tremendous.
I feel very proud of what we've achieved, and I think the guys that went out there today are really top footballers, and they've deserved everything that they've achieved this season. You don't win what we've won without putting in a lot of effort, and they've put in a lot of effort.
A lot of
Oh, it's tremendous. I mean, it's something that you always dream of, and it's it's been a great end to our season.
What was it, just to Andy, what's it like to score a try in front of 32,000?
Incredible, Gareth gave me a great ball, I just run for the line, it was excellent. Yeah, enjoyed the occasion, good hard firm ground, playing with a good set of lads.
Back up well, don't they, Dust?
Yeah, they do. Play well, play for each other, so that's why we won today, I think. Good defence.
You must be fed up on the opposite.
Two Mike's dream had finally come true in only 4 years. As thousands of Cougar fans celebrated the club's achievements in the Town Hall Square, it proved to be the pinnacle of Cougarmania. Little did we know that days later, Magnet, the car company, and many sponsors would pull out of the club. The dream of playing the top clubs lay in tatters, and a sense of failure to this day haunts all the directors who worked so selflessly.
Each day I live, I want to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. I broke my heart for every game, to taste the sweet, I face the pain.